Hey everybody, I am back with another weekly devotional, and this one's going to be a little bit different because I kind of want to throw it back at you guys and get some advice from you. I'm going to tell you what I think about it, and then I would love to hear from anybody who watches this. Let me know what you do in this situation. And here's what I'm talking about. Have you ever been asked to do something that necessarily isn't wrong per se? Is definitely not illegal, but it may compromise your personal beliefs. Maybe it could be your morality, it could be just something that just makes you uncomfortable. So there could be a broad spectrum of things that could be something that it compromises the way you feel about something. It could be, extremely bad, or it may be just, it's not that big of a deal, but it may compromise something that you feel strongly about. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up right now, I am not going to say what happened, and I know that is frustrating when people say, oh, this happened but I can't tell you, or this has happened but I can't talk about it. But the reason why I don't want to say what happened is because I do want to respect the parties that this happened to and just not reveal anything because it could be embarrassing. But recently, someone I know asked another person I know. It wasn't not me, I was not involved, I just was made aware of the situation. But one person asked another person to do something. And initially on the front end, you're thinking, oh, that's no big deal. But then the person that was asked to do something really got to thinking about it. And the more this person thought about it, the more they said, or started thinking, this really compromises something that I feel very strongly against and that they didn't want to do. So herein lies the question, how do you handle it? Do you just flat out say, absolutely not, I am not going to do that, how dare you ask me? That's not the way I generally go. Some people may do it. Do you just set them down and say, hey, I respect you for asking me that that you look to me to do something, but I can't do it and this is why? You could also possibly hurt that person's feelings if you come out with it, if you come at them with that, because they are doing something that doesn't bother them and they may have thought they were honoring you by asking you to do something. So that could possibly hurt their feelings. Well, how do you handle this situation? Do you be flat out rude about it? Do you tell them the truth but try to be diplomatic? Or do you just make up an excuse? And I don't mean just make up something and lie to them. Kind of how I fall on it is I will come up with something else that and actually do it. So I'm not going to lie about it, but I'm going to end up doing something else that gets me out of the situation. Sorry, I just got distracted. My truck going down the street. But that typically is how I do it. I realize that I think that's probably the cowardly way out of it. But the thing about it with me is I have a horrible time with myself if I ever think that I've hurt somebody's feelings. It tears me up inside to think about hurting someone's feelings. So I would rather end up doing something else that gets me out of the situation, says, oh, I'm so sorry, thank you for asking me, but I have this I have to do instead. That's the way I typically lean towards that, or this issue. But on the other hand, I really want to come back at the person and say, this is something that I feel extremely strongly about. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you asked me to do something that compromises my feelings, my beliefs. It could be your morality, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be illegal. It doesn't even have to necessarily be that wrong. It could just be something that you are personally convicted about doing and that the other person is not. And that's the way I think that I would like to go that route, and instead of not, and I don't want to say making up an excuse to get out of it, because if I end up making up an excuse, I will do that other thing, because I'm not going to lie to them and say, hey, I've got this going on, and then not do it. But I just wanted to throw that out there. What do you guys think? If somebody asks you to do something, and it may be that you just don't want to do it, but I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about, have you been asked to do something that compromises you? and how do you handle it? What is the best thing to do in that situation? You could get some advice definitely from your pastor, your pastor's wife. Sit down and talk to them and say, hey, this is what's going on. What should I do in this situation? I do, though, typically think most of us will come up with an excuse just not to hurt the person's feelings. But sometimes I think that person really and truly does need to be told, hey, I don't feel right about this, and maybe I'm not trying to interject my beliefs on you or my feelings or my personal convictions, but hey, maybe it would not hurt them to think about that as well. I'm just going to throw that out there. So this is the weekly devotional. It's been more of a question for you guys and kind of to telling you what I think about it as well. I would love, love, love to hear from you. So have you ever, and you don't have to reveal the situation if you don't want to, but if you've ever or have you ever been asked to do something that compromises your personal beliefs, convictions, whatever, and what did you do to handle the situation? If you do want to share it, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear about it from you. But if you don't feel comfortable, I completely understand, because I didn't want to reveal this situation either, because I didn't want to embarrass anybody or get anybody upset. But that's all I've got to say today. Thank you so, so much for watching. Bye, everybody.